Bronny James, this is it. This is as good as it's going to get. Your father gave you an NBA career just to destroy it. You know, I never thought I would find myself agreeing with the insufferable Bill Plaschke. I mean, this is the same man who claims to be emotionally traumatized when he hears the word Chiefs or Seminoles or Braves. Oh, Braves. That word is especially painful to Billy. You know, it's strange. Billy claims to be offended by those words, but he never seems to miss an NFL Sunday. Doesn't miss the Super Bowl, where the traumatic word Chiefs is mentioned hundreds of times during Super Bowl week. I never thought I would agree with Captain Doofus, but I am in 100% agreement with Bill Plaschke. Headline at the LA Times: Lakers' decision to draft Bronny James is a costly move towards chaos. Billy published that article 2 days ago, and in the 48 hours since the article was published, the mainstream media, they have given us non-stop coverage of a second-round draft pick. A second-round draft pick in what most people believe is the worst draft class in the history of the NBA. Just think about that for a second. 30 teams in the NBA. They were so unimpressed with the spawn of LeBron, he damn near went undrafted in the worst draft class in NBA history. Well, KC, that's simply not true. The Lakers were clearly impressed by him. They drafted him. Bronny James is already a huge star. He's box office. He's going to sell tickets. This is not the Charlotte Hornets. This isn't the Maine Musketeers. The Lakers don't need help selling tickets. They're the Lakers. The brand itself is box office. And it's going to be hard for Bronny James to sell tickets when he never touches the court. This kid barely touched the floor at USC, playing for one of the worst programs in the country. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. You know, I really do feel bad for Bronny James. He seems like a great kid, very polite, well-mannered. You can tell that Bronny James was raised right. That's one thing I have never taken away from LeBron James. Bron might have destroyed the public's perception of the NBA. Many people blame LeBron James for the NBA's tanking ratings, but one thing you can never take away from him: LeBron James is a great father. He's always been there for his kids. And I'm sure he was with Bronny Wednesday night as they celebrated another first in the NBA. King James, along with his beloved Prince, they will become the first father-son duo to play together on the same team. What an accomplishment. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes. I hope they enjoyed the celebration. I hope Bronny James enjoyed his moment in the positive spotlight. Like I said, this is as good as it's going to get. In terms of basketball, Bronny James, he has peaked at 19 years old, which is the complete opposite of how it typically works for dudes. Normally, men, we peak as we get older. If you look at the average career earnings for men, income tends to rise with age. Complete opposite for women and professional athletes. But at 19 years old, before he has even participated in practice, the NBA career of Bronny James has peaked. Let's just be brutally honest here. Bronny James has no business being in the NBA. Dr. Jerry Buss, he has got to be rolling over in his grave. This once proud franchise has turned into a complete circus. There are certain franchises in each sport where the expectations are higher. The Yankees in Major League Baseball, the Packers in the NFL. In the NBA, it's the Lakers and the Celtics, the two cornerstone franchises in the league. The expectations are higher. If LeBron James was still playing in Cleveland and he convinced Dan Gilbert to waste a draft pick on his son, no big deal. I mean, sure, it would still be a media circus. It would clearly be a publicity stunt on the part of the Cavs, but it's the Cavs. the team located in the city known as the Mistake by the Lake. If LeBron wants to turn the Cavs into a polished turd, who cares? And look, I'm not criticizing Cleveland. It would be the same thing in New Orleans. If LeBron wants to turn the Pelicans into a dump, go for it. The Smoothie King Center is already a flaming ass fire. Drafting Bronny James, it would not hurt the Pelicans' reputation. But this is the Lakers. This is a fan base that expects greatness. This is a fan base that expects to compete for a championship every year. Maybe you could justify this decision if LeBron James was still 35 years old. Maybe you could justify this decision if LeBron James was still in his prime. But he's not. The Lakers made the decision to draft Bronny James to fulfill the dreams of a rapidly aging player who's going to be 40 years old in December. Think about the position they just put JJ Redick in. How weird is this going to be for JJ Redick? Rookie head coach with no coaching experience. Already hard enough coaching LeBron James. Constant media coverage. A fan base living in the delusion that the Lakers are actual contenders. Frank Vogel won a championship with the Lakers. They still fired his ass. Darvin Ham took them to the Western Conference Finals, fired his ass too. It is already challenging enough being the head coach of the Lakers and coaching LeBron James. And now, JJ Redick's going to have to deal with the constant questions from the media about a second-round draft pick who should have went undrafted. Coach Redick, when can we expect to see Bronny James in the rotation? When he learns how to dribble through his legs. Coach Redick, how is Bronny James developing? Oh, he's doing great. Today we had him scrimmage against one of the WNBA players from the LA Sparkles. Bronny locked her down defensively. We are very pleased with his progress. JJ Redick just walked into a disaster. Not only is this a bad look for the Lakers, this is a bad look for the NBA. According to multiple reports, Rich Paul, he told the other 29 teams in the league not to draft Bronny James. If another team drafted him, they were going to hide this kid in Australia. Now, of course, there was no need to send the message since the other 29 teams in the NBA, they were scouting players who actually have a chance to compete at this level. For years, there has been this constant speculation that LeBron James has influence over the NBA front office. January 2023, Lakers lost a nationally televised game in the final seconds because of a missed call by one of the incompetent NBA officials. LeBron, he makes a big deal about it on social media. Rest of that season, Lakers led the NBA in free throws, and it wasn't even close. Summer of 2020. LeBron jumps on the Bruce caboose pretending to be outraged over mythical racism. He wants to start kneeling for the national anthem. He wants to indoctrinate fans by putting these lovely woke messages on the court. End racism. We're all in this together. Woke love. I love you. You love me. Bronny should be in the G League. Instead of Adam Silver standing up to LeBron James, he allows LeBron to do whatever the hell he wants, and the NBA has never recovered. And now, we have a situation where LeBron James essentially orchestrated the drafting of his son to the Lakers. That ain't a conspiracy theory. Rich Paul basically admitted it. And who is the biggest victim in this situation? Who is going to be negatively impacted the most? Bronny James. Most second-generation athletes, they try to escape the shadow of their father. I don't care who it is. Young men, they want to establish a name for themselves. They want to create their own legacy. I would be willing to bet that Bronny James, he doesn't want to be known as LeBron's son. He wants to be known as Bronny James. Because LeBron is a legend. Because he's on the Mount Rushmore in the NBA. Well, KC, you're no longer allowed to use that term. Father Jalen Rose has forbidden use of the term Mount Rushmore. Well, Father Jalen Rose is no longer lead pastor at Woke United Methodist. Last I checked, ESPN fired him last summer, and Father Jalen is still unemployed. LeBron, he is one of the greatest players to ever play in the NBA. Now, he's not the greatest. I don't care how many times Shannon Sharpe refers to him as the Billy Goat. Hey, it's me, Shay Shay! LeBron James, he will never eclipse the greatness of the great one, Michael Jordan. But even with that being the case, there's no doubt LeBron, he is a legend in the NBA. It would be difficult for Bronny James to escape his shadow if he were playing in the G League where he probably belongs. Hell, I don't know if Bronny James is qualified for the G League. Gonna be interesting to see what happens at Summer League if Bronny competes. Even a bum like Dyson Daniels, he looks dominant in the G League and Summer League. Summer League will tell you all you need to know about the qualifications or lack thereof of Bronny James, if he participates. But anyway, it would be hard enough for Bronny James to escape his father's shadow if he were playing in the G League. It is going to be damn near impossible for him to escape the shadow when he is sitting in the LeBron-provided shade on the bench. This kid ain't ready. The NBA, I think, is the hardest league to transition from college to the pros. There are lottery picks that last 1 or 2 years. Hell, there are some lottery picks who never touch the floor. If LeBron James was not nearing the end of his career, Bronny James, he probably goes back to USC. The only reason Bronny James declared for the NBA draft, his father wanted to play with him, and he knows his NBA career is coming to an end. Now, part of me gets it. Part of me understands, but at the same time, part of me doesn't. It feels like LeBron James is setting up his own son for huge embarrassing failure. There is going to be immense pressure on Bronny James to perform, and judging by his time at USC, he's not ready to do that. If he can't dominate in the Pac-12 or the Pac-10 or the Pac-1, whatever the hell they're calling it now, if Bronny James couldn't dominate at USC, what makes anyone think he can even be a role player in the NBA? All right, I got to get out of here. This is going to be the only video for today. We will be back to regular schedule tomorrow. Earlier this week, we lost one of the members of our happy hour family. Actually, he was the leader of it. One of the smartest dudes I knew. His funeral is this afternoon, so heading there now, but we will be back to regular schedule tomorrow. In the meantime, give me your thoughts on this. Is LeBron James setting up his son for failure? Does Bronny James have a chance of making it in the NBA? Also, is this a bad look for the NBA? Definitely a bad look for the Lakers, but is it a bad look for the league? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.